Good morning. I currently received a question regarding what you would class as a personal question to the speaker. Am I enlightened? You know. Now, primarily, I was going to answer. I normally answer these questions in messages or in emails but I think it's only fair that maybe cover a few interested parties of the status of what I appear to be, you see, so that you can form some sort of relationship, some sort of trust. Because when we go on to speak, to listen to anything, whether it's our partner or teacher or boss or minister or guru, whatever it is, there has to be some sort of connection, some sort of understanding, some sort of relationship. So it's important for most to learn or understand what the speaker is. Now, normally in our day-to-day life, in our human life, if someone asks you a question regarding your belief is if you're a body and the mind and the person, and they ask you a question regarding anything, you have to take ownership on the answer, right? Whether you say, I don't know, you have to say something that appears to be from you, appears to be from a kind of hard drive of you. Now, the question regarding enlightenment, what can take, you see, the speaker finds it difficult to take ownership of enlightenment. You see, what can take ownership of enlightenment? We're going to address enlightenment and whether this body or whatever you appear to think I am is enlightened or not. But what can take ownership? I mean, information arises every day, and to each one of us. Who takes ownership of the information? Can one take ownership of the information? Can one take ownership of the body? Ownership meaning it's mine forever and ever. It's mine's. That's the egoistic way of saying information, which is born from ego, there has to be an owner of it. So when the security guard asks you who you are when you go through the customs, and you say, I don't know, it's not going to let you pass because you're not taking ownership of what your name. You're not taking ownership. You see, every one of us is past a responsibility, right? The responsibility, a godly responsibility or a spiritual responsibility, okay, is not necessary in our human world anymore, apparently, you see. There's only the responsibility of you, the person, the me, the I, the ego. When the parents give you your name, you have to accept your name. You have to be responsible for your name. You have to be responsible for your information. So when you go to the court as a witness, and the judge says, what is your story? What is your statement? And you struggle. The judge won't accept. No, take responsibility for your information. Even though you cannot store your information. Even though you take responsibility of your name, your weight, your size and everything, how can you understand where it resides? How it's going to come out? Is it going to be the right way or the wrong way? We just dibble-dabble. The mind just dibble-dabbles and stuff, And at school, when you sit your test. Yeah, I studied so hard. I read everything about this subject. And yet, when I look at the questions, the information just does not come. So I take responsibility. So I must be the failure. You see? So when you say you are anything, the external world appears you accept, expects you to take responsibility for it. No. All our life we take responsibility. When we're late for work, we have to take responsibility. But it's not our need and desire to get to the work at a particular time, but it is the need and desire of your boss to get to the work at a specific time. So if you're late, you're taking responsible. We build our children up to be responsible adults, and the responsibility suddenly bites away at your head. It bites away, it gnaws away at your head because the hard drive is not big enough. Every day, someone gives you a little bit more responsibility. So therefore, you have to take ownership, or they're expecting you to take ownership. The homeless man takes no responsibilities, right? Yet he's tagged as lazy and inept. But he takes no ownership. He takes no ownership of a home. He takes no ownership. The luxury is that we take ownership. Oh, yeah, but we work hard for that because we take responsibility. And then we end up in a mental hospital with dementia and Alzheimer's because we've taken so much responsibility. But there's no one doing it. It's our need to take on the information, the ownership, and the responsibilities. That's the problem with humanity now. That's what's revealed from enlightenment, is the mind is storing and storing and storing until it bursts. And that's the awakening of Eckhart Tolle and this speaker, is when you cannot take any more of this, you see. And people think I cannot take any more of my body, my world, my life. And they take ownership and they take it out of the system. And that is the unfortunate and sad way. For some, now I'm addressing the question. When I awoke, it was through a need to disappear from this world, from this body, from this earth. But I wasn't strong enough to do what some unfortunately do. So I question myself in the mirror, like Tolle. Who am I? Who the hell am I? Who are you in the mirror? And something took me to my knees and everything was lifted. Science, biology will tell you it's a chemical reaction in the brain. Dopamine, opiates, serotonin, all this imbalancement suddenly and then resides again in its rightful compartment. And I actually accept that, So is enlightenment a biological reconfiguration of the brain's chemicals, And in the biological sense, possibly, yes. But what happens is not a biological experience. For Yuji Krishnamurti, it appears to be a biological experience. All he talks about is the human form. But he also talks about the ownership and the responsibilities and what society does to each one of us. This systematic I, this fake I, this pretend I am the person, I am the body, I am the name, I am the story, I am the born one, I am the dying one, I am the ill one, I am the tall one, I am the short one. All this you see this, even if this body accepts enlightenment, that information still resides. It's not the information about me anymore, it's the information that encapsulates all our mind, all our existing soul and spirit and aura. It suffocates the soul and the spirit of each one of us to say you cannot escape. Would you use a perfect example about what awakening enlightenment is, right? It's not spiritual. The explanation he gives. You have a school of fish that are trapped in a net caught by the trawler boat. They're all caught and they're all being raised up, to be eaten. And one little fish escapes the net. Till the next time. The net is the mind. The net is the mind. We think the mind is wonderful. But the mind has been put here for a real, true purpose. And we utilize it. We actually take it under a kind of slavery way. Say, you will provide and store this information, mind. And the mind becomes the victim. So when this awakening happened in front of the mirror, the mind was set free. So it's the mind that becomes enlightened. Now the mind cannot be separate from the body. So the body itself also experiences enlightenment. Now, when this experience takes place, the mind, which is your whole story about you, which is your name, your identity, your information, all that you took ownership of, has now been taken away. So you're no longer the owner of your name, your story, your body, your existence, your individuality, your personage. But you're also no longer the owner of the enlightenment. So what remains is whatever I am with enlightenment and information and knowledge surrounding the body. The body is no longer the owner of it. The body and the mind that remains is no longer responsible for the information and the enlightenment. What you are responsible for is nature and the people around you. And that responsibility is much greater than keeping the information, the needs, the desires, the hopes, the beliefs, the attachments to programmed, inherited, bullshit, old stuff. Is superseded by the responsibility to look after your family and look after your body. And don't intrude or get involved with the world, because their responsibility and your responsibility is to look after yourself and the people around you. You're not responsible for looking after Mars. There is a empathetic, sympathetic way to understand that those that still believe they are truly only persons are struggling. And they're at war for no reason, for absolutely no reason. And you see that everyone, even the politicians, even those that are apparently the world nations, the most incredibly intelligent people in the world, are also struggling to take responsibility and ownership. And it's now becoming really evident. And maybe it's just because this enlightened body and this mind experienced this, or witnesses this, or understands this. But we're becoming so inept, unable to support each other. So Jesus or Buddha or whatever it is that remains within each one of us, or God, or consciousness, is saying, stop this unruly need to intrude on other countries, on other people, and look after yourself. Because if you look after yourself, the people around you will see you as enlightened, whatever enlightened means. And in that state, there is an opportunity for the people around you and the people and that what is within you to expose itself. So within this body, all I don't know, within this body lies something that is incredibly pure, and it wants to come out. Is it the rebirth of Christ? No. It's the rebirth of I. Not the systematic I, not the headstrong I, not the spiritual, I'm out of it every day I. Yeah, I am non-dual I. But the I that is beyond the human eyes, you see? You can look at it as a symbol eye, or you can look at it as these eyes. The eye that is beyond the human eyes. The Hindus say it's up here. The Osho said it's in the hara, the umbilical cord, the belly button. You know, you find your eye, the eye that is beyond all eyes. Am I enlightened? I'm not evading the question. I'm always questioning the questions. And when the questioner sees that there's no answer, the questions themselves disappear. And when the questions disappear, the need to take responsibility, ownership, look for power, look for needs, look for desires, look for attachments, look for ways, look for methods, look for practices, they all dissolve. And what remains is, what remains is. See, by saying that twice, it gives you two meanings. You're the dual meaning of life. You cannot be here without being dual. You cannot be here without appearing to be bound in a form, in a suit, in a body. And walking freely, separately through space and through other objective ways and forms. But you cannot be here without being non-dual, primarily enlightened. So all is enlightened, walking around pretending they're not enlightened. To experience some sort of wow, God exists state of enlightenment that I knew before the net bound me. And now I'm popped out of the net through this pops is explaining whatever is taking place is taking place. To make judgment on it, to make analysis on it, to make value on it, to make something separate from it is just an irresponsible mind that's been forced into ownership, forced into responsibilities, and forced into being separate. By what? God says, never give this idea that there's something conspicuous. Because when you start thinking about the conspicuous, you're giving it time, you're giving it food, you're giving it attention, you're giving it what it desires. And it's growing. So there's nothing conspicuous in my life. Everything is okay. Everything is enlightened. You cannot see another human being as non-enlightened, but you can see them as confused, as forced into a responsible and ownership position, as following the guidelines and the suits of important, what they call hierarchical states of mind and people. And they're all sick, you know. I don't mean sick in the mind, but we're all sick, you know, until the encounter with spirit, consciousness, or God dissolves the sickness and gives you a tablet to share with the world. I truly hope I have evaded the question. This I, the informative I, has evaded the question. But I also hope that you've seen through that there is something far more deeper within you, within your true I. Thank you for the question, and thank you for being here. I love you.